The sun was relentless, blazing down over the white folding chairs aligned with military precision on the university's football field. Proud parents and relatives sat in anticipation, murmuring in excitement as the graduation ceremony of Westbridge Military Academy was moments from starting. But one man stood quietly at the back, wearing a pressed Marine Corps dress uniform that clung to his broad frame like it had been made for him yesterday, though its faded medals told stories decades old. Sergeant Major Darnell Brooks, retired after 30 years of service, had arrived early to see his only son walk across the stage and receive his diploma. This day meant everything. He had missed birthdays, school plays, and Christmases while serving his country, but he had promised his son, Jordan, "I'll be there when you become a man." And today, Jordan was becoming an officer. As he made his way toward the seating area reserved for parents, 2 security guards intercepted him. Their posture was stiff, their eyes cold. "Sir, you'll need to stand back. This area is for family and guests," one said, scanning Darnell up and down as if his uniform meant nothing. "I understand," Darnell replied calmly, lifting a hand slightly. "My name is Darnell Brooks. I'm here for my son, Jordan Brooks. He's in the graduating class. I'm his father." The guards exchanged looks. One of them glanced at a clipboard, then shook his head. "There's no Brooks listed with you as a guest. You weren't pre-registered. You'll have to watch from the general area." Darnell blinked. "I flew from Georgia. I sent in the RSVP 2 months ago." "Sorry, sir. We're under strict protocol. You'll need to leave this area." People nearby had started to watch. Darnell noticed a few sidelong glances, some of them lingering too long. He could hear whispers. It wasn't hard to read the room, a black man in uniform, standing proud yet being asked to leave by 2 guards half his age. He didn't want to cause a scene. His son would be stepping out in a few minutes. So with all the grace and dignity he'd earned through battle, he nodded and turned to walk away. But someone else had noticed. For men seated 2 rows down, unmistakable in their Navy SEAL lapel pins, their posture, and their aura, stood up almost in unison. They were decorated SEALs who had served in some of the toughest missions known to the military. The tallest among them, Commander Hayes, strode toward the guards. "Is there a problem?" he asked, his voice low but unmistakably commanding. "It's handled, sir," one guard muttered. "No, it's not," Hayes said, narrowing his eyes. "That man is Sergeant Major Darnell Brooks. Served 30 years. Multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Silver Star. Purple Heart. He's a legend. And he's the father of Cadet Jordan Brooks, top of the graduating class, by the way." The guard stammered. "We didn't see his name." "You didn't look," Hayes snapped. "You saw a black man standing alone, and you made a decision." The crowd had fallen silent. People craned their necks. Phones were raised. Hayes turned to Darnell and saluted. The other SEALs followed. "It's an honor, Sergeant Major. You belong in the front row." Darnell, speechless for a moment, finally said quietly, "Thank you, Commander." Escorted now by 4 SEALs, Darnell was led not just to the front row, but to the seat of honor. The announcer had begun listing cadets. Rows of graduates in full dress began walking across the stage to applause. And then came the name that pulled everyone to their feet. Cadet Commander Jordan Brooks, graduating with top honors in leadership and valor. The young man stepped forward, his stride confident, his chin high. He accepted his diploma, then took the microphone briefly, something unplanned. "Before I thank my teachers and my fellow cadets," he began, voice steady but thick with emotion, "I want to acknowledge the man who taught me what it truly means to lead, not with loud words, but with quiet strength. A man who fought for his country and for his family. A man who was just told he didn't belong here, because some people forgot what real honor looks like. Dad, please stand." Darnell stood slowly. The applause exploded. People rose from their seats. The 4 SEALs behind him stood rigid at attention. Jordan's voice cracked. "This diploma is yours as much as it is mine." After the ceremony, as families embraced their graduates, a line began to form, not for photos with Jordan, but with Darnell. Mothers thanked him for his service. Cadets shook his hand, some with tears in their eyes. The guards who had once turned him away stood far off, heads low, no longer confident in their protocol. A reporter approached, having captured the moment on video. "Sergeant Major, what message would you want people to take from today?" Darnell took a breath. "That respect isn't something you earn from a clipboard. It's something you give because it's right. You don't judge people by the color of their skin or the number of medals on their chest. You judge them by the love they show, the sacrifice they make, and the humility they carry. I didn't come here for attention. I came to watch my boy become a man. And he showed the world today, he already is one." The video went viral. By nightfall, millions had watched the confrontation and its aftermath. Messages poured in from across the country, from veterans, from students, from families who had experienced similar moments of quiet injustice. The university president issued an apology the next day. The guards were reassigned to training on cultural awareness and respect. But more importantly, a new scholarship was created in honor of Sergeant Major Darnell Brooks. One that would go to children of military families who displayed not just academic excellence, but humility and heart. And Jordan? He went on to become an officer whose leadership was modeled not just after textbooks, but after the man who had led him silently for years. Every decision he made, every soldier he led, carried the imprint of that graduation day, the day the room fell silent, not in shame, but in respect. Because sometimes, one moment of recognition, one act of courage, of kindness, of calling out what's wrong and lifting up what's right, can turn a lifetime of being overlooked into a legacy that silences a room. And in that silence, the world finally listens.